is the concept of greed? Yes. Greed is a multifaceted aspect of human behavior that has profound implications for individuals and society as a whole. In this extensive examination, we will delve into the nature of greed, its manifestations, psychological underpinnings, cultural context, consequences, and strategies for managing this complex emotion. What is the nature of greed? Greed is a pervasive human trait characterized by an insatiable and excessive desire for wealth, possessions, power, or resources. It involves a relentless pursuit of material gain, often at the expense of others' well-being or ethical considerations. Greed can manifest in various forms, ranging from the pursuit of personal wealth to the accumulation of excessive possessions or the quest for authority and dominance. At its core, greed represents an attachment to material wealth and a belief that more is always better, regardless of need or necessity. It is a constant craving for more, driven by the belief that acquiring more material possessions will lead to happiness, status, or fulfillment. What is the manifestations of greed? Greed can manifest in numerous ways, affecting various aspects of an individual's life and society as a whole. What is excessive consumerism? One of the most common manifestations of greed is excessive consumerism, where individuals continuously seek to acquire more material possessions, often beyond their actual needs. What is hoarding? Greed may lead to hoarding behavior, where individuals accumulate vast quantities of goods, often to the detriment of their living space and the well-being of those around them. What is exploitative business practices? In the business world, greed can manifest as exploitative practices, such as price gouging, underpaying workers, or engaging in unethical business practices to maximize profits. What is corruption? Greed can drive corruption, as individuals in positions of power seek personal gain through dishonest or illegal means, often at the expense of public welfare. What is unethical investment? Some individuals and organizations engage in unethical investment practices, such as exploiting natural resources without regard for environmental consequences or profiting from industries associated with harm, like the tobacco or gambling industries. What is economic inequality? At a societal level, greed can contribute to economic inequality, as the pursuit of personal wealth by a select few can result in the concentration of resources and opportunities in the hands of a privileged minority. What is the psychological dimensions of greed? Greed is a complex emotion with deep psychological roots. Understanding the psychological dimensions of greed can shed light on its dynamics and effects. What is fear of scarcity? Greed often arises from a deep-seated fear of scarcity, where individuals believe that they must accumulate as much as possible to safeguard against future deprivation or insecurity. What is hedonic adaptation? Hedonic adaptation is the psychological phenomenon where individuals quickly adapt to new levels of wealth or possessions, leading to a continuous desire for more to maintain the same level of satisfaction. What is social comparison? Greed is often fueled by social comparison, as individuals compare their wealth or possessions to those of others and feel a constant need to keep up with or surpass their peers. What is materialism? Materialism is a value system that places a high importance on the acquisition of material possessions. Greed is closely linked to materialistic beliefs, as it prioritizes material wealth over other aspects of life. What is impulsivity? Greed can lead to impulsive behavior, as individuals may act without considering the long-term consequences of their actions in their pursuit of immediate gratification. The cultural and historical context of greed. The perception and acceptance of greed vary across cultures and have evolved throughout history. What is cultural variations? Cultural norms play a significant role in shaping attitudes toward wealth and greed. Some cultures may prioritize communal values, while others may emphasize individual wealth and success. What is religious and moral perspectives? Many religious and moral traditions warn against the dangers of greed. The Judeo-Christian tradition, for example, includes admonitions against coveting and greed in the Ten Commandments. What is literature and art? Greed has been a recurring theme in literature, art, and mythology, often portrayed as a destructive force. The story of Midas, who turned everything he touched into gold but lost his daughter and happiness, is a classic example. What is economic systems? Economic systems can influence perceptions of greed. Capitalist economies often emphasize individual pursuit of wealth, while socialist or communal systems may prioritize equitable distribution of resources. What is the consequences of greed? Greed has far-reaching and often detrimental consequences, affecting individuals and society as a whole. What is economic inequality? One of the most significant consequences of greed is economic inequality, as the pursuit of personal wealth by a select few can result in the concentration of resources in the hands of a privileged minority. What is exploitation? Greed can lead to the exploitation of vulnerable individuals or groups, such as workers in sweatshops or communities affected by environmental degradation caused by corporate greed. What is environmental degradation? The relentless pursuit of profits and resources, often driven by greed, can contribute to environmental degradation and harm to ecosystems. What is erosion of trust? Greed in business and politics can erode trust in institutions, as unethical behavior and corruption undermine faith in leadership and governance. What is social division? Economic inequality and disparities in wealth can lead to social division and unrest, as marginalized groups seek to address the injustices caused by greed. What is psychological impact? At an individual level, greed can have a negative psychological impact, contributing to stress, anxiety, and a lack of contentment despite material wealth. What is strategies for managing greed? Overcoming greed requires self-awareness, ethical reflection, and a commitment to values beyond material accumulation. Here are strategies for managing and mitigating greed. What is self-reflection? Engaging in self-reflection allows individuals to examine their motivations and values. Understanding the underlying drivers of greed is the first step toward managing it. What is practice gratitude? Cultivating gratitude for what one has can counteract greed. Focusing on the positive aspects of life, relationships, and experiences can shift attention away from the relentless pursuit of material possessions. What is set ethical boundaries? Establishing clear ethical boundaries and principles can guide decision-making and help individuals avoid engaging in unethical or exploitative behavior for personal gain. What is give back? Practicing philanthropy and giving back to the community or causes that matter can provide a sense of purpose beyond wealth accumulation. What is foster empathy? Developing empathy for the struggles and challenges of others can humanize them and reduce the inclination to exploit or disregard their well-being for personal gain. What is prioritize well-being? Shift the focus from material accumulation to overall well-being. Prioritize physical and mental health, meaningful relationships, and personal growth as essential components of a fulfilling life. What is mindfulness and contentment? Mindfulness practices can help individuals stay present and content, reducing the impulse to constantly strive for more. What is conclusion? Greed is a complex and pervasive human trait characterized by an insatiable desire for wealth, possessions, power, or resources. Understanding the nature of greed, its psychological dimensions, cultural context, and consequences is crucial for individuals and society as a whole. By implementing strategies for managing and mitigating greed, individuals can redirect their focus toward more fulfilling and ethical pursuits, fostering well-being, empathy, and a sense of purpose beyond material accumulation. Balancing the pursuit of personal success with ethical considerations and the well-being of others is essential for a more equitable and harmonious society.